All right, all right, all right. We're gonna learn today. Alrighty. So today's video, I'm just trying to think what I want to talk about today. Oh, today I want to talk about motivation, right? So I think a lot of people think that motivation is something that has to happen first before you do something. Like it's something that can be summoned and just like, hey, motivation, bring me to the thing that I want to, you bring me to my goal. Meanwhile, it's not like that, right? But before I get there, right? First things first. I'm wearing a full on sweatpants and hoodie today. And I just had to mention that because it's summer in South Africa. It is summer in Joburg, and Joburg has been raining a lot. And unfortunately, it is my fault. It really is my fault. Since the 1st of Jan, I've been making it rain, and a lot of people have also just been conscious of the fact that summer has been very rainy in Joburg when it doesn't rain like that in Joburg. It usually rains like that in Durban because it's like summer rain, tropical season, that kind of vibe. So last week, when I was making it rain with my mother, God, I I said I want to see the full extent of my powers because initially, whenever I was making it rain, I'd be like, not that bad, right? And I felt like I was holding back, and I knew I was holding back. And you can't really know how to control something until you go all the way and feel it all the way, and then know how to dial it back. That's the same thing as I've said in previous videos where I was talking about pain, I'm talking about suffering, or I'm talking about trauma. You have to go all the way into it and feel it all the way in order to dial it back and realize, listen, I'm not actually trying to live there. I'm not actually trying to do that because you felt the feelings all the way. So I did a similar thing here where I'm like, you know, I think it's important for me to know like my full extent of my power because with great with great power comes great responsibility. So I didn't anticipate that the rain would be this bad. When I said, let's make it pour, like let it pour. Like I was just like, you know what? I'm done holding back. Let it fucking pour. I don't know which human upset me that day. Someone triggered me in the sense of not upset me in a way that I'm now being vindictive, but rather like you don't know who the fuck I am. Like you don't know who the fuck I don't know who the fuck you're talking to, but I walk with God, and we don't like that. So because of that, I was like, you know what? I've been holding back for these humans who don't appreciate shits, who have been given everything that they needed to, propel themselves to go forward. Instead, they're running amok. They are listening to illiterate teachers. They're listening to people on the bottom of the food chain, actually. Trust me, white people are the bottom of the food chain. We know this. It is obvious. Statistically, biologically, they they don't have enough melanin. Anything is that is a lack of means that it's not as strong. So why is it that when it's black people who have too much melanin, right? Then we looked at as, oh, you are less than. How is more less? In which world? That's the same thing I had. That's the same sentiment I have about mental illness. How is mental illness a bad thing? How is having ADHD? You have ADHD. That means that you have pattern recognition. You can draw, like you can literally anticipate people's conversations. You can finish people's conversations for them. You know where the conversation is leading. You can look at cues and understand things. That is analytical. That is exceptional. But yet, it's a mental illness. This is why I always say question everything. Everything is a lie and everything is true. Two things, they literally the parallel, like the Newton's laws. With every force, there's an equal and opposite force. That's exactly how life is. So, anyways, get triggered or something, or more like wanting to understand who am I really? Like now that I'm here, now that I'm fully who I am, like I need to see the full extent of my powers in order to know how to manage them, how to um, control them. Just like in those movies, like in these movies with powers and stuff. I think the movie that's coming to mind right now is Darkest Minds. and Amandla Stenberg was in that movie, and she was pretending to be a different power. So they each, it's a great movie, and I wish there was, they can, I wish that they continue the franchise, but it helped me understand me as well, where I was now drawing back on that movie when I watched it years ago. But essentially, she tries to hide her powers, and they trickle out of her. They trickle out where she can't control them because she hasn't felt them all the way, because she's pretending to not to be like other people. That is exactly like I was. I was pretending to be human. I'm not human. I'm an angel. I'm a God. I'm meant to be here to teach you. I'm meant to be here to educate you. I'm meant to be here to judge you. That's why my tone offends you. My tone offends you because your spirit is supposed to do something. You're not doing whatever your spirit is supposed to do. And if the people who I meet who are in touch with themselves, who know their spirit, they are never offended by my tone. I have never met a single person who is in touch with themselves and know themselves fully who's ever offended by my tone. Mm. Oof, now that is coffee. Mm. I'm having a hazelnut latte right now. Hazelnut cappuccino. Oh, it's so good. Anyways, that movie told me a lot about what I'm going through right now. So, long story short, I mean, long story long, because I haven't even gotten to the topic that I'm supposed to talk about. But because I didn't know the extent of my powers, now I'm seeing there's floods everywhere. You know, people's roofs are falling off. Not the roof itself, but like the carports are falling down. Luckily, I haven't heard of any injuries as yet. But I do apologize, right? And I actually sent a video on my socials apologizing to humans that, you know, it might be frustrating for you, but it's an inevitable thing that it has to happen, where I have to feel the full extent so that I can know how to manage it, know how to use it better, know how to be responsible. Um, so yes, it's uncomfortable for everyone. It's cold in summer, um, and I have a video like months, like not months ago, but weeks ago, where I showed me literally making it rain from just talking about it. So now I can talk about the rain without it without me making it rain per se, because like right now it stopped raining. Um and I know it's not gonna rain until I'm done with this video. So yeah, I'm better at it now because I needed to feel everything. And that is the same thing about everything, and even this topic that we're gonna talk about. So without further ado, okay, so I said if you're waiting for motivation to start, you'll be waiting for an eternity. Sips drink. So I'm going to go back to what I said in the beginning. People think that motivation needs to be the starting point. That first you get motivated, then you do the thing. That is not the case. And I think I'm going to bring in confidence in this one as well, because it's hand in hand. People think that confidence comes first and then you do the thing. You're wrong, sweetie. That's not how it works. That is not at all. That is not at all how it works, right? The more you do something first, and the more you get confident, you get more confident in doing the thing because you get better at it, and that's what builds your confidence. Same thing with motivation. You first do the thing, and the more you do it, and the better you feel after doing it, the more motivated you are to keep doing it. So I'm going to take gym as an example. It's the best example to give, especially with motivation. Nobody likes working out. There are some insane people, maybe like 10% of the population, that loves the working out part, right? But 90% of the population hates working out, right? We know this. But obviously, don't quote me on these statistics. Like, I haven't done any research on this. This is just off my top of my head. Okay, just go with it. So, how it actually works, and I'll say this because I was a gym buff. I still am. I'm just recovering. So, the whole of 2025, we know what happened in 2024. Sorry, I mean the whole of 2024. We know what happened in 2024. I have a whole video about it. So I'm slowly building back to being a gym buff. But in my days of being a gym buff, how I started was not because of motivation. I was just sick of being in a place where I wasn't feeling good about my body. And that's usually how it starts. When you really want to do something, sometimes, most times, it starts with you being fed up. That's how that's how you change, because I think some of the motivation is also linked to change. So I think I'll talk about change, motivation, and confidence today. So we don't like change. People don't like change. People, I think it's a human thing. Like not statistically. What was I saying now? Intrinsically, that's what I wanted to say. Intrinsically, I think humans in general don't like change, right? Or are resistant to change. There's obviously more some people who like to be challenged and want change and all of those things, but a lot of people don't like change. So it's hard to change yourself. Why is that? Because you have these preconceived notions, beliefs, and everything, and you're used to the certain homeostasis, right? And change disrupts that homeostasis. And motivation cannot exist without change. So you have to first want to do the thing, first recognize you. So you first have to acknowledge that, listen, I have a problem on a gym, I want to lose weight, right? Then from there, you buy the gear. You're like, okay, cool, I need gym gear. Assuming you don't have it. You get prepared. Get prepared in whatever way. Get prepared emotionally, get prepared in terms of buying stuff, fine. Then you go and do the thing. You go to the gym. You go there the first time, you hate it. You don't know what to do, you're feeling unconfident, you're feeling like people are watching you at the gym, you feel like you don't know what you're doing, so you hate it, right? Come back, and that's the feeling that you have after the gym. You feel like you just hated it. But if you keep going and you keep going to the gym, and you get better, and you stop you start lifting more weights, you start getting more comfortable, that's when the motivation comes. That's when you're like, yeah, I want to go to the gym so that I feel like a badass afterwards. Yeah, I want to go to the gym so that I can do my gym photo. So how I used to do it, and how I used to basically coerce myself into getting comfortable with the gym again, because I used to work out um, throughout my life because I played sports. But there was a time where I just took a break. This was in varsity, where I just didn't work out, and I was very depressed. So coming out of varsity, I wanted to get out of that depression mode, and that's when I started getting more in touch with working out again. And when I was starting over, I had to find ways to create motivation, right? How did I do that? I bought gym clothes that I look good in. I was like, you know what? If we're gonna do this, let me at least feel good doing it, right? So I went to Kepa. Kepa is a South African brand that has really great gym wear that I always buy from. So I went to Kepa. I bought so many things. I bought things on other platforms as well. I just say Kepa because they have treated me the best in terms of quality. I mean, I still have the stuff that I bought back in 2021, 2022. So, and it's 2025 now. So that's how good the quality is. And yeah, so I bought the stuff that makes me look good, right? Because if you feel good in those clothes, even if you don't look good, you don't have to, your body doesn't have to look the way you want it to, right? You just need to find a way that makes you feel good. If it's not gym wear, get a playlist, get a good playlist going that you're going to listen to. Get nice shoes, get nice sneakers that you really love to wear. Whatever it is that's going to just enhance your journey just a little bit, that has nothing to actually do with the gym itself, right? Because you listen to music without the gym, you wear gym clothes without the gym, you can use it as leisure wear. You wear sneakers without the gym, right? So it's not about the gym itself. Okay, cool. So that's step two, right? First, you acknowledge that you want to change. Second, you find something that's gonna make you feel, good about the change. Okay. Third, and this one is not nice. Just do it anyways. You don't like to do it, do it. Just keep doing it and just see. Just see, and I'll say give it a month. Like literally just 4 weeks of 3 times a week going to the gym and just doing it like you really just don't want to do it. You don't want to wake up, just do it. And then that's when the motivation comes, because the more you do it, the more it feels good. At first your muscles are sore, and maybe you don't like that pain. I do, so I'm a different species. That's one of the reasons I get motivated to go to the gym, is because I'm like, I like a little muscle pain. Let me go to the gym. But that's just me. I mean, I get tattoos for the same reason, so we're not the same. And those who can relate, I'm glad you're here. But those who can't relate to that, what I want to say is that find ways in which you can maintain that motivation that has nothing to do with the thing, and then just tell yourself to just do the thing. That's how you build confidence too, because then the more you go to the gym, the more you know what's going on, the more you know what weights you're doing, what workouts you're doing, where everything is, and that's when you get confidence in the gym as well. Another thing I used to do to motivate me into the gym is to make quotes. I'm a writer, so I have sticky notes. I have one right here. It has a coffee stain, but I have sticky notes that I bought to write my daily motivations on my mirror. So I'd wake up, write my daily motivations, stick it on the mirror, take a picture of myself, a gym selfie, with the quote, and that's how I start my day. After the gym, I do a post gym little, I could do like a boomerang. I don't know if boomerangs are still a thing, but I do like a short video or like a picture of me, post gym sweaty and stuff, right? That also helped me. It helped me keep accountable because I was posting on social media, and people were actually looking forward to my quotes every morning. Like I had like a sticky note saga, like every single morning, every time I go to the gym, that's me. So you find things that are ritualistic, and you basically try to create a habit out of the thing that you're trying to do. A good book, a great book that I enjoyed, that is that easily summarizes what I'm talking about, and is an easy read. It's called Atomic Habits by James Clear. It is such a great book. I think I need to even go and read it again. It is, people say, oh, it's so obvious, it's got such obvious things. Yes, but it summarizes everything so easily rememberable and easily understandable, that makes sense, because motivation is not what we think it is. I remember that, I've had friends who wanted to gym and stuff like that, and they want to first get this motivation to do so. And they'll look at my statuses and stuff and be inspired, but they don't feel motivated, without knowing that I, even myself, me, Miss Girl, who's posting every day, I snoozed 10 times that morning before I posted that sticky note that they saw on social media, without knowing the background. I snoozed my alarm for at least an hour before waking up. People don't know the background. You don't know what real motivation looks like. You create it. You are energy. Motivation is energy. You have to first move to meet motivation so that motivation comes to you. Motivation just doesn't just drop from the sky and land on your lap. Nothing ever works like that. Like nothing good ever works like that. Yeah, maybe not ramble. Not that meanwhile I have rambled. But the first point I wanted to talk about was, I've been having points. But yeah, avoiding what is hard now for what is pleasurable now. That's what people, most of the time, people want to avoid what is hard now and choose pleasurable now, meaning sleeping in rather than going to the gym. But what's funny about that, what's pleasurable now, it still makes you feel bad. What's pleasurable now tends to make you feel worse than just doing the thing. Think about it. If, let's say, you snooze, you don't go to the gym, you start your day, you shower, now you're tired because you're groggy, because you set up an alarm, so your body did wake up, but you were not ready to mentally. So you're still tired because now you went back to sleep, you messed up your sleep cycle, you woke up in between a sleep cycle, and then now you feel groggy. Go to the shower, start your day, and you're just feeling sluggish. You're not feeling great. So the funny thing is, what seems pleasurable now actually hurts you more. That's what I've noticed. Yes, you can choose between, you have to choose your heart. Yeah, basically what I'm trying to say is that choose your heart. Do you want to do hard things now? and then have it easier later? Or do you want it easy now and have it harder later? I've always been the one who wants to leave the best for last. Like, growing up, I'd eat all my other food first and end with my chicken, because I like meat. I like meat. Or I always leave the best piece of the sandwich last. Like, so I'll chew around the sandwich like a weirdo and leave the softest part for last. So me as a person, I like delayed gratification. I like to leave the best thing for last. So when I realized what my true personality was, that's when I was like, oh, I'll just do the hard thing now. Then I'll make it easier later. Whereas people tend to choose the pleasurable thing now because we want this fast gratification. We want gratification now. And that's the problem I have with social media, is that it has so much dopamine that's coming that you get this pleasure now, 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 but you feel so like not good later. And that's the thing. If you snooze, you know, to go to the gym, you feel like shit the rest of the day. Whereas if you go to the gym, do the hard thing, takes you an hour to go to the gym, just an hour out of your day, the rest of the day, you're feeling great. You're feeling amazing. You like, that's the worst thing that could have happened to me that day. That's how I used to see the gym. I'm like, I've done the hardest thing. I've done the worst thing that I could have done today. Everything else I can conquer. Everything else is easy peasy. What do you mean? I can conquer that. Problematic clients. Nothing. Water down my back. I'm good. Nothing will be as bad as those squats. Nothing will be as bad as those burpees, you know? So, and I'm a burpee queen, hey? I love me a burpee because one thing about me as well is that I love to be challenged. So when I did get into the gym, I started all the exercises that I hated ended up being the exercises I was best at or the exercises I loved the most. So, for an example, I hated burpees. Who doesn't? Now I love them. And for example, I hated Bulgarian split squats. Now I love them. So that's how it works for me. But what I really just want to stress there is also that you basically need to separate yourself from the discomfort of the now so that you can gain the gratification of accomplishment later. So it is discomfort. There is a lot of discomfort when you're trying to create motivation, regardless of what it is. It can be anything other than the gym. I'm just using the gym because I think it's the most relatable example that everyone can be like can relate to basically. So what else did I want to say? Let me just have my coffee while I think. Mm, this tastes so good. Not even gonna lie. Um, So the next point that I have here is that the more you do hard things over what is easy is how you get motivated to challenge yourself more. That is exactly it. Just like the burpees example, the more I was going to the gym and the more I was working out in general, and the more I was like, okay, I can do 5 burpees now. I'm aiming for 10. I'm aiming for 15. I'm aiming for 20. And that was me. And then it was a situation where every chance I get, I'm doing a burpee now, or I can do 5 sets with just burpees, you know, of like 20 at the time. Yeah, I was insane. That's like 100 burpees. But yeah, listen, you don't have to go as hard as I'm talking about, okay? Listen, I was going through something, okay? That's why I'm also I'm trying to reestablish my relationship with the gym because there was a toxicity there where I was basically breaking my body. Not breaking it in the sense of like wanting it to break, but what was in here was so hard that I needed an outlet. I needed an outlet. And at the time, that's what I had. But now I have so many things. Now I have creativity, like these video journals, writing again, studying again, and so many other things that I'm doing that I don't need that anymore. I can bring it down. I can slow pace. So I've just been walking. That's it, literally. But slowly and surely I'll go back. Probably do CrossFit this year. But yeah, I think it's important for everyone to understand that confidence, motivation, and change do not just happen. All of those three things are actually very connected. Because when you deal with the fear of change, once you've gotten over the fear of change, you then get motivated to continue. And the more you get motivated to continue, the more confident you become at the thing that you're doing. So that's why I say that those things are connected. Um, but I don't understand the resistance to change, because the funny thing is, and it's a status that I have on WhatsApp. I've had the status for years. I don't know if WhatsApp actually tells you. Oh, my actual phone, this one has WhatsApp. This one doesn't. But the status that I've had for many years, I don't know how long I've had it, but it's at least been at least since 2019. Okay. And I say that the most I say, what did I say again? The only thing permanent in this life is change. Yeah, change. Change is inevitable. You have to change, whether you like it or not, whether you seek it or you don't. I say that because if, let's say, for example, you have a specific job, you lose that job or you go to a different one, you are forced into change. Um, let's say you didn't want children and you mistakenly have a baby, forced to be in change. Um, maybe you weren't looking for love and you found it and now you're married, forced to be. The only thing that is consistent in life is change. So if whether or not you choose to change is up to you. But regardless, around you, your environment will force you to change. For example, that's why you will find situations where you have multiple patterns of the same thing. You meet the same kind of friend, who hurts you in the same kind of way. Why? Because you choose not to change. And I say choose very intentionally, because it's a choice. Change is a choice, and you are choosing not to. And the minute you choose not to change, God will laugh at you. Because you made a deal before you got here. You don't know this. You don't know what the deal is, because you haven't taken the time to know yourself, figure it out, and find out what your deal is. But you have a deal that you made before you came here. So things around you are forcing you to change, and you are resisting that change by saying, "Oh, I just need to be motivated." For example, I've always known that I wanted to be a writer. I've always known this, because in another video that I've said as well, I used to scribble on pages on end because I wanted to be a writer without even having the words yet, right? As a child. And as a child, still, I'd be writing all the time, reading all the time. And I've basically like been writing my whole life. And the reason why I didn't study English and writing and literature is because, well, my mom told us very specifically that she's not paying for a Bachelor of Arts degree ever. So if you want to do a Bachelor of Arts, forget about it. If you want to do education, forget about it. She's only paying for any other degree. So I was immediately eliminated from doing what I wanted to do, or what my child self has always known that I wanted to do. But I've come back to that. I've come back to who I was, because I went back to figure out what has happened to me. Who did I want to be before people told me who I should be? Who did I want to be before trauma? Who did I want to be before, whatever it is that has affected me to be out of balance with myself? And in doing that, it also showed me the areas in which I need to change. And the more I changed, the more motivated I was to stay the same in that area where I am now, because it forced me to lose certain relationships in order to change, to lose certain thinking patterns, thought processes, beliefs, limiting beliefs, um, voices that were not mine in my head, that I was then continuing. Because what happens is, people plant seeds in our minds, and we then nurture those seeds, we water those seeds grow. Next thing you know, you say to yourself, I am not someone who gyms. Meanwhile, maybe your parents told you that you're not good at sports one time, and then you decided that, okay, cool, I'm never going to do a sport again. and then that seed has been growing this whole time. But because you don't even challenge yourself to change, you don't even challenge that thought. You don't even challenge, okay, but why don't I like working out? What about working out makes me not want it? Okay, how can I make it better for me? So, for example, if your version of working out is running, you hate running. Okay, cool. But you say that when you want a gym, that's what you're gonna do. Why not try different things and see what you like? Maybe you don't like running, but you like doing squats, but you like doing push-ups. So maybe you should do strength training. Or maybe you don't like strength training, but you like to be like in flow, like you want to move like your um what is it, aerobics. You want to do it as a team sport. Then you go to a class. Or maybe you want to be held accountable, so you get a personal trainer. Or you like fluid motion with weights, so you're like, okay, CrossFit or HIIT workouts. So the only way to figure out what it is you love and get closer to that motivation is to try different things around that same topic, that same thing that you're trying to change in order to get motivation. Then create the motivation. Motivation is energy. You are energy. So you need to create in order to meet motivation, not the other way around. Okay, let's see, what's the last point? The last point says learn to love being challenged. Adversity breeds transformation. So take change and being challenged as an opportunity to gain motivation and confidence, because that is the same. This can be applied into anything, whether it's work, whether it's friendships, whether it's relationships, whether it's, you know, your side hustle, your interests. Always take the challenge or the inevitability of change. Take those things as motivation or as an opportunity to create motivation. Where the challenge is, that's where the motivation can be. So, yeah, today is a nice and short one because I didn't have much to say. But just remember that change, motivation, and confidence all aligns. If you can be committed to change, then you will be rewarded with motivation and you will then gain confidence. That's simple. At least I can make it sound that simple because I had to go through this and figure all of this out in 30 years. So all these videos will sound simple, okay? You are the one that has to do the hard work, not me. I've already done my hard work. I got no more work to do. I'm good. Now I'm just sharing. So I'm looking you in the eyes because do something about it. Stop complaining. Stop saying I'm so fat. I'm so ugly. I'm so this. I'm not good enough. I haven't read. I can't do this. Don't want to hear it. Garbage. Boo, boo, boo. Tomatoes. Wake up. Decide to change. Everything else will follow. Motivation will follow. Confidence will follow. Or fail forwards. Let's not be so fearful of failing that we forget how to live. Imagine being so scared of failing that you're not living your life, your best life. Imagine you get to heaven's gates at the end of all of this. They replay the life you should have had. The life you should have had it only if you had changed whatever it is you don't like about your life, whatever it is that doesn't align with who you're meant to be. Only if you had changed that, you would have gotten the life that you wished, the one that you always felt like you should have had. And you get to heaven's gates and they show you the life, and you're like, this is actually better than what I even felt at the time. And why? You just decided to be in a space of complaining, a space of pain, a space of victimhood, a space of suffering, instead of doing what? Change. Changing is so easy. You just have to be consistent. That's literally it. To change is just doing the exact same thing over and over and over until what? Until motivation comes, until confidence comes. Then it becomes automated. The reason why your pain and your suffering is automated is because that's where you've been living. That's what you know for however many years. So yes, it will be automated, and yes, it will be hard to change because you're competing with 30 years of work. I've been competing with 30 years of work, but I'm like, you know what? We're not doing that anymore. We're not living in that pain. Fuck that. So punch that bitch in the face and keep working. Be consistent. That's it. The only thing you need to do is be consistent. Do it anyways. Forget about how you feel. How you feel does not matter. It really doesn't. Just get to work. I don't want any excuses. I'm not here to be someone to vent to and complain to and tell me excuses. I don't want to hear it. I've been through life, the hard knock life. So, and I didn't make excuses. So the least you can do is the work that you need to do. That's it. That is literally it. It's that simple. So, as I always say, thank you for letting this video journal interrupt your life. I hope that whatever it is that you needed, you got it from this video. And I just want to implore you to be the best version of yourself and fuck every other thing that is, making you feel doubtful about yourself, making you feel less than, because you're not. You are love. I am love. You are light. I am light. The only thing that is missing is for you to meet that person, meet who you're meant to be. And the only thing that's stopping you between then and here is work. So get to work, boo.